and democracy, Marcus for Democracy, Susan Wagner, co-founder and also co-lead of the Grassroots Coalition Project. I mean, what a show. I have to say, glad you're here to share this with us, because you guys did such great work for Virginia, and you just, your story. Start out with a little bit of, so people in the room may be new to Markers for Democracy. Tell us about your group, tell us what you do, and then tell us about this new project you're going to be working on.
Terrific. I just want to say, Susanna, good for you. And being the mother of millennials, I really get you, and being in a number of generations ahead of you. You know, the fight is never over. They're just never over. We fought in the 70s, 80s, and now you're fighting a different type of fight. But at the bottom, it's really the same kind of issues. So good for you. All right, Markers for Democracy was founded by a lot of women from my generation, who are people who were in the fight in the 70s and 80s. And a lot of us came on into careers in those times, lawyers, doctors, nutritionists, etc. And after 2016, none of us were happy. And we got together at Le Pen Quotidien, which is pretty famous in New York. I don't know if it's famous across the country. And we started to write postcards for candidates. And this was for the 2018 elections. We've been around since 2017, and we're actually having our 5th year anniversary party very soon, one online and one in person. We're having the one in person because we started off in person, and one online because when we had COVID and we had to go to Zoom, we did that seamlessly, and now we have a group of people from all over the country, and we didn't want them not to be a part of our party, so we're planning 2 of them. I would say Markers for Democracy is all about community. We started off, no exaggeration, with 4 of us, and at a certain point before the elections in 18 and 20, we could have 100 to 150 people sitting at Le Pen Quotidien taking up all their tables, but we did tip very well. So we have a story that we think we sent somebody to college based on our tips. And then we decided that one of the things we wanted to do was not just be involved in politics, but we wanted to be educated advocates. So it was very important to us to bring in journalists and experts and lawyers and people who've been working on academic stuff that feeds into policy. So we are really informed activists. I know I don't have the time to go through it, but my friend Ellen Bender is going to put our link tree in, and everybody can read the link tree. But you should know that our group, I think, is very different than a lot of other groups in the sense that being informed advocates is very important to us. We have grown by leaps and bounds. We have a book group, which we call OBG, Obama's Book Group, because we once had a president who read, and we've read a lot of books off of his list. But we've bonded over all of that, and we really are a very supportive community. I hope everybody will look at the link tree and figure out what they'd like to join us for. So that's Markers for Democracy very quickly. And I can talk about it in the after chat.
How many postcards did you write for this session? I always said hundreds of thousands. Do you have
hundreds? If somebody's on from my group, would you? Total?
Well, for
how many postcards did we write?
And you also, well, she's getting that number. You also texted and you did phone banks, because that's part of your activism
and
too.
We did vote curing, and we did canvassing.
Awesome.
But one of the things we found, which leads me into the Grassroots Collaboration Project, and is a little unique to New York, is that you talked about it somewhat. Respect for grassroots groups and what grassroots groups really are about. Grassroots groups are not the labor unions or Working Families Party. Those are not what we are. We are groups of mostly women, oftentimes women, sometimes with men, and we are a separate entity. We are new muscle for the Democratic Party. And I know the pundits that we all listen to or read, Hubble and Jessica Craven and Simon Rosenberg, they get it. But I don't think that the state parties in many states get it. And you all might know this, that our lovely state chair in New York compared our grassroots groups this is the Democratic state chair, to election deniers yesterday.
Oh,
So you can imagine where we're up against in New York.
shoot.
And we have been pushing to just be helpful. As I say, we don't want your jobs. We don't
No.
want to run for your offices. We just want to help you based on our grassroots information. But we have really been resoundingly rejected. And as you probably all know, Long Island had major losses.
Yes.
We wanted to help. We were not really welcomed in. And so when I've been talking about this on various groups, Susan LeBandebar, who many of you probably know, who is a major connector and a super connector, I call her, sort of reached out and said, you know what, we're going to start this Grassroots Collaboration Project, which the other co-lead on is from 31st Street Swing Left, so it all comes together, which is Julie Greenberg. So we got together, we sent out a survey to all leaders of grassroots groups, and we asked them about their experiences, positive and negative, in terms of working with state parties, in terms of their working in grassroots groups. And what we found based on that survey was turned into a 58-page report, which we have shared with many. I think Ellen is going to put into the chat a link for our directory.
Very nice.
And which is going to be a directory of all grassroots groups. So I hope anybody here who's from a grassroots group will fill out the form for the directory. And based on that, we'll see whether you are a part of this sort of grassroots organization. But our goal is to give grassroots the prominence they deserve, that we all deserve. I think the truth is we're carrying the Democratic Party on our shoulders. Robert Hubble said that so much. And I just want to talk about one other thing. I'm reaching out for help here. I've started to work on a documentary about grassroots groups because I believe that there's a political industrial complex out there. All those marketers, all those people who run up the tab on every single one of these campaigns, and you listen to candidates who say, I have to raise $50 million to run for this, or I have to raise $7 billion. And then you think about what goes into that and what we've all done for free, how far we go without a penny being spent, which is why I think they're very resistant. And I sort of want to expose that. So if anybody on this call has worked on projects, documentaries, etc., please reach out to me. I'm just about to do a pitch, and it's not my area of expertise, and I can really use help.
We got people. We definitely have some people we can connect with that. And I, by the way, agree. It's hard to even say this about. It's not hard. It's easy for me to say because we've been through it. I saw people in the room know this. Our state party doesn't like us. It doesn't like us, and that's weird. Like, how can I say that? But it's true, and it's like, what? I don't want your job.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah, no,
I'm not
really,
a threat.
yeah.
I'm not a threat.
It's kind of like weird. You're thinking, we're trying to help. We're trying to just fill in the blanks. We're trying to whatever, and then you see that there must be something else going on. And like you said, this money and the consultants and how much people make. Yeah, I don't know if that's the threat or what it is, but love to unpack that more with you. And I think it's timely. And I've said to this team, especially after this election, we need to be part of the narrative. We need to be part, we have to insist on it. And I knew that in 17 and 19, that I actually would stand up at events after they'd list everybody who was there, who did things, and it wasn't any of our groups. And I would say, I would just stand up in front of, I don't care who you are, congressperson, a senator, I'm standing up. And I said, and the grass, I would just make sure that we weren't forgotten. And we are part of actually the driving thing. And I think what we're going to do in community is really make sure we're building this community, and it's going to be really what's going to help us win back our democracy. This is how we're going to do it. So, right, I'm ready.
Can I add two things to that?
Please,
that's
go ahead.
So relevant. One is it's really women, and it's a very interesting thing to look at. Why is it that women are really the ones who are going to motivate this type of change? And it's not just because some of us are retired. It's not that. it's very interesting to think about that, drivers of changes in society. So I really want to highlight that. The other thing I want to highlight is, there are progressive groups out there, but even the progressive groups sometimes are resistant to the notion of grassroots. And
Yes.
I have tried to stand up in certain environments and just say, hi, I'm here. We're grassroots. We really carry you. And when you need us, you kind of come calling, but yet you're not willing to give me a seat at the table, as I say. Yeah. And I find that interesting. I just find that very interesting.
And when we do our events and we need sponsorship, that always comes clear to me, what the value is placed on stuff, and then who really kind of does see you as valuable. It really does separate sometimes of really just speaks volumes. So look, stick around. I am so excited to be, and I know that Fanel and other people in our group have been going to the meetings in this collaboration project. And I think, again, it's just going to be, this is the way we roll. This is the way we're going to really win in 2024. There's no doubt about it. So thank you so much for everything you do, Susan. We really appreciate it.